Thank you, Rico, for your nice presentation and your kind words. Yes, indeed, I'm from Spain. I hope that it is not going to be something that is going to play against me. Yes, indeed, I'm going to speak in this evening in English, because although I understand everything in Dutch, I want to discuss with you for things that I have said, not things that I think I said. So it is better to do it in this way. I'm also a member of deel2, the democratic movement here in Europe at the very end, which has some groups in Holland as well. But just a disclaimer, all the opinions that I'm going to say here are not necessarily from deel2, but are personal opinions, just in case somebody feels a little bit violent by them. So, after this small presentation, to be or not to be a donor, that is the question. I'm going to give you a brief medical perspective about this, and hoping not to be too technical, and relate this medical perspective towards my own opinion about the new law. So these are the topics that I'm going to touch here. First of all, what says the law about declaring a patient as a donor? Just a brief introduction about that. I would try to kill some myths, so we can discuss afterwards about them. And again, I think this is I'm going to give you my opinion about the donorwet, and in this case, I think it's good enough. So let's go to the medical law, if we can say it in this way. There is a law here in Holland that is active since 2016, as you can see here. It is the wet of the orgaandonatie. Basically, what it says, apart from certain legal dispositions, it defines when a patient can be a donor. In this case, is if the patient has a diagnosis of death brain. It also defines what is death brain. It's the complete and irreparable loss of the functions of the brain. Pretty straightforward, including these two important parts of the organ. But how do we determine that indeed the brain is not working anymore? Well, first of all, the law defines state-of-the-art diagnostic tools that are being updated periodically. It should be made by a doctor. Normally it is made by a neurologist. And this is really important. Completely unrelated with the organ donation process. And you can understand this point, because if you are seeing your life in terms of organs, in certain sensible cases, you are going to fail towards your own bias, and that's not good if we are talking about human lives. And of course, I have said to you, following an up-to-date protocol, which is called the Hersendahl Protocol, which is attached as well to the law. And this is the Hersendahl Protocol. It is revised since 2017. As far as I can remember, there are another 3 versions, one from 2006, updated in 2015, and this one from last year in June. It is made by the Health Council of the Netherlands, which is commonly known here as the Gezondheidsraad. You can check this law in this website. And basically what it says, in really very few technical terms, first of all, just before entering into the protocol of the organ donation, the doctor should discuss these issues. Low temperature of the body, intoxication by alcohol and drugs, low tension. Here are a couple of really technical words, blockade of the neuromuscular junction, but if I told you about anesthesia, for example, you can more or less understand what is it about. He or she should see whether the patient has suffered a severe metabolic disorder, for example, diverse types of coma, for example, alcoholic comas or diabetic comas. And the last thing, as you could probably imagine, these patients have a really severe health state, and probably they have suffered a reanimation process within the last 12 or 24 hours. and all those medicines that have been administered to the patient could have influence into the later diagnosis. So, if it is okay, there are no sign of these medical conditions, just follow the protocol from the upper part to the lower part. Doesn't matter that you don't see here, but I just wanted to highlight here that you start from the first box, and if it is not accomplished, or if it is not good enough for the patient, you don't go further. You automatically stop at that moment. And this is it. First of all, continuing the last list of medical conditions, the doctor, the neurologist, should discard that the patient has a medical neurodepression. That means that if, for example, the patient has consumed recently anxiolytics or pills to go to sleep, you can imagine that the brain is going to be a little bit, deactivated. We can call it in this way. If that is not the case, even if it is the case, you just wait until the signs disappear from the body, and also the medicine is clear from the body. It should check for the absence, for example, of awareness, self-awareness, environmental awareness. So the patient should be conscious, shouldn't be conscious to be a donor, first of all. Moreover, he or she checks the brainstem reflexes. The most commonly known brainstem reflex is the pupillar one. Every time probably you have seen it in a lot of films or a lot of documentaries. The doctor with a kind of light over the eyes, the pupil opens or closes depending on the intensity of the light. This is one of the multiple brainstem reflexes that should be tested. And lastly, in this point 2 of the protocol, the doctor should see whether there is indication of the absence of spontaneous inspirations. You know, one of the major functions of the brain is to breathe, to let the body breathe. And here I have highlighted indication of, because the last part of the protocol is going to check concretely whether it is present or not. So if we fulfill all these conditions, we go to the third point, which are the brain tests. With this brain test, what you are going to check is intrinsically the function of the brain. And there are 3 different techniques. I'm not going to enter deep into that. It would be really too difficult for a lot of people. So I'm just going to give a couple of characteristics of them. The law defines these 3 techniques. The electroencephalography, let's start at the beginning. You have probably seen, or you have probably had in the past, an electroencephalography. These are the electric signals of the brain. And here you have a normal adult signal, and this is a completely dead brain. This is how it should look like. The CTA is the second technique, compute tomography angiography. As you can see here, where it is not really clear, here in the computer it was. It is going to check how the veins and arteries of the brain are. So, how is the quality of the circulation, and how, whether they are blocked or not, by using a contrast liquid. And the third, well, here you can see how a healthy brain looks like, and here how more or less a really altered brain looks like. And the last of the techniques is the transcranial Doppler examination. It sounds really ugly, but it's not that difficult. Probably if any of you have had a child recently, you have seen it. I think at the 20 weeks at the 20 weeks, the newborn, the future newborn, is checked for the heart, whether the heart is good or not. And at least in my case, you saw in red how the blood flows into the heart, and how it goes out of the heart with another color, for example in this case in blue. So the basics are exactly the same, the Doppler effect. And well, as you can see here, this is how a healthy brain should look like, and here how a dead brain approximately would look like. Anyway, it is really clear perhaps here, but there are a lot of scale of grays, so there is where the problems started to appear in a certain way. And the last point of the protocol, the apnea test. Indeed, it is going to confirm whether the brain is capable to let the patient to breathe. That's as simple as that. I'm not going to enter into this protocol. So after giving these medical clues, I'm going to try to create some myths. For example, the first one. After having seen all these strict protocols, really strict protocol, in my opinion, the Netherlands is not going to be transformed in the World Trade Center of organs, legal or illegal. I mean, any patient, whether he has opted into the donation process or not, should follow this really strict medical protocol. So this is not going to be changed by the law. It is a step further what is going to be changed. This is going to remain as it is. Second one, something that I have read relatively frequently, coma doesn't immediately mean organ donation. This is really important. So anybody who is in coma can develop the brain could go wrong and could go towards the donor process, but most of the cases not. So don't think, please, that if you are in coma because of any reason, you are going to be automatically donoring your heart or your whatever. That's not true. And the last one, concretely focusing on the law, on the new law itself. If you don't give your consent, well, you are not automatically a donor. I have seen it in several conversations that it is like this, but that's not true. So, please, let's kill this myth throughout the people here in talk. And now I'm going to say to you why I think the new law is good. First of all, there's a clear and a real need for organs. These are statistics that I have taken real recently from Transplantatiestichting.nl. They update the ciphers really frequently. I've taken these 2 days ago. Probably today they are different or not, I don't know. But here are the ciphers from January 2017 until March 2018. So real recent ciphers. Here are the organs, number of donations taking place have taken place during this period, the waiting list, and here just a simple calculation on how much of all the waiting list has been addressed by a donation. Really low amounts of them. So if we can see here, kidney probably is the highest one, and it is barely higher than 56% of all the waiting list. Moreover, I think that this law is a question of solidarity and not really, as I have said here, an obscure handling of any government. I mean, I would be really proud if in any moment of my life, I hope not, let's think that I'm not going to need it, I can count on you, can count on any of you. And the other way around, I would be happy if you feel confident that in any moment in the future, I can help you in any sense. Healthy, in this case, giving you an organ. And the last one, this is what I think would be the effect of this new law. Just simple as those favorable for an organ donation, which have not yet opted into the system, they are going to be registered. So that is simple as that. And that does mean that we are going to get thousands or millions of new organs in the system. They should follow all the protocol that you have just seen, really strict protocol, medical protocol, and then go through the bureaucracy in terms of I'm a donor, I'm not, family discussion. And that was everything that I wanted to say to you. Thank you very much.